It was fun, and it was helpful to actually remember people's names. At first, I wasn't really buying into it, but later, throughout the course of this class, it really helped remember people's names.
I was incredibly surprised how well it worked, and I never would have remembered Dickafitz other than him talking about Mike Ditka and slamming his fists down on the table.
It started at Camp Joy, which is an overnight trip. So you're like, I'm an adult and I got to stay in a cabin with a bunch of adult people. And so it's like, yeah, that's crazy.
Vulnerable is a great word because you know you're going to do this overnight because you look at your schedule, but then you also know that you have to do all these things with all these people you don't know. But it's amazing how quickly you got to know everybody.
I thought it was interesting right off the bat that you could tell who the strong leaders were, and you had to sort of back off and say, okay, everybody's a strong leader here. You can't fix everything. And then we did a little exercise where you determined what kind of leadership style that you had, and it was funny watching that unfold, how accurate that was.
Yeah, and I think, at least I went into it with the same mentality a lot of people do. I have to camp with all these people I don't know. I have to spend 2 full days with them. How do you talk to people you don't know? But the exercises and just, like Kathy said, learning whose personality was which way was it made it so much easier, getting to know everybody and getting to talking to everybody.
I think that you build trust really quickly when you're put into some of these scenarios. And I think doing the leadership exercise first, you sort of see what people's strengths are, how they approach things. And then when you get thrown into the scenarios, you kind of have to trust these people, right? I mean, you're doing the exercise and the hope is you make it to the end of it. So you kind of have to look at your neighbor and be like, okay, I guess they kind of know what they're doing. So, and I think you also become a little self-reflective because you're like, oh, I really thought I knew what we needed to be doing. And you really had no idea what you needed to be doing. So a little self-awareness, I would say.
I thought I would scale up the wall and just go on the ropes course without any concern, but when you first climbed up there, it was
taking you out of your comfort zone.
Yes, it did. It was nice to have a partner to help me, so thank you for that.
When you have your defenses down, you're vulnerable, you're really trying to be strong and put on this front maybe sometimes, but it really reveals who you are. And I think, you learn that there is growth when you are a little bit vulnerable, and I think that happened for me. So I like the growth that I experienced with this.
So we were all standing in a group, and Yasmin said, pick a partner. And I turn around, and I'm the oldest one, I think, in this group, and I'm standing beside the youngest, fittest one, and she goes, "You want to be my partner?" I'm like, "Oh, Lord, have me." But she was such a good coach and encouraging because I was way out of my comfort zone, and it was awesome.
So I, like Nick, thought that I might jump up there and not be afraid at all. But it turns out I was terrified, and my partner was Bree, and she was probably the quietest person in our entire group. And she ended up just being the very best leader for me that day, and I really needed a leader. So sometimes even when you are a leader, you don't realize how much you also need a good leader in your life, because she was absolutely pivotal for me.
So I had a really good time at the campfire that one night when we went around telling stories, trying to guess who we were talking about. I don't even remember exactly how we did it, but I just remember it was really fascinating. We were really bad at guessing a lot of them. Just things you didn't expect to hear from people, kind of off base. But it was an interesting learning opportunity to talk to everybody.
Learning all about Kara.
All about
Kara, her past lives. And do you have a clip? Can you show?
You might be able to find something on YouTube. That's all I'm going to say.
Where you in your men's at? Where you in your men's at?
I really liked the criminal justice. I mean, it was so comprehensive. Everything from in the beginning, speaking with, the chief of police, the coroner, it was so thorough. And then going through these different sort of segments, especially the video game, the real life video game. And it was pretty intense. It really got your heart rate up. And then later to see the dogs and the canine officers, if you will, that was cool. And then to end the day out at the jail, that was so weird because it was such a juxtaposition of, in the morning it was all about good and all the good things, and then you're like, wow, to take a peek into the bad. It was, I was tired at the end of the day.
That was my favorite session as well. We got to do have so many neat experiences, but I think my biggest takeaway was actually talking to them about their community engagement, community involvement, and I left so grateful that my kids are growing up here and they're going to have so many positive interactions with police in this area that hopefully the time never comes that they have a negative one when they're older, but they're going to grow up with such a good appreciation of who these people are, what they do.
I've actually shot those guns before. So I interned with the Dayton Police Department. And so I used to go to the shooting range with them, which was really cool. So it had been quite a few years. And kind of a side note, don't know if everybody knew this, but I've actually applied to be a police officer in the past. I was a forensics major, but I had a blast. I absolutely loved the shooting range. That was probably one of my most fun times on it. And I was excited to see everybody step out of their shell, especially Michelle.
Every time the gun went off, I was like, every time, I was just jumping because I'm not used to that. But I kind of wanted more. You know, it's one of those things where you don't do it, but then once you get a little comfortable, you want to do it a little bit more. And I ended up with some high-powered rifle on just kind of taking pictures with it, like, hey, I do this all the time. But no, but it was a lot of fun. It definitely taken me out of my comfort zone.
Was amazing. We started out over at Mercy Hospital, and then we spent the second half over at Westchester Hospital. And the trauma simulation, wow. Just, being there and being able to watch surgeons and specialists and watch those guys do what they do and remain calm and save lives.
We went to proton therapy. Just looking back, that's the one I went home and around the dinner table later that night, I'm like, you guys, look at this, look at this. And I was showing them all my pictures and telling them all my cool facts that I now know.
I love the school day where you learned about education in the community and the speakers from Lakota schools. I'm a parent of 3 teenagers, and I thought I was educated and knew a lot, but you have no idea what's going on behind the scenes and just what a state-of-the-art school district we have here and how blessed we are.
I enjoyed our last session. It was really awesome to have the administrators for both Westchester and Liberty Township together. I thought I knew a lot about what was going on, in both of those communities, and to hear about the collaboration that goes on between them and some of the history, and just candidly to have access to talk to those people about whatever, that's one of the things that I think Leadership 21 really has to offer is just access to things, whether it's the healthcare physicians that Kelly was talking about or just, the people who are in leadership of the community's governments. That was pretty cool for me.
I think I learned that you don't have to control everything. I'm kind of a person who wants to control, and I let others sort of lead me. And I won't even talk about the dance. Remember the dance, Nick, that we did? The lead and follow aspect of that. So it's okay to let somebody else lead, and I follow. So that's what I learned.
They say 140,000 cars drive through this area every single day, and it's because of what we have to offer.
I'd say I've learned more about myself and really how to be a leader, not only in, my career, but just in general.
You don't always have to be in control, and you're not. Like, all of these people are just as capable as I am. And you have to learn, that the people around you are just as capable.
After every activity, we had a long discussion about how do we translate this back to our organization and working with our teams. And for me, that was a big takeaway is you hire good people. Let your team lead.
One thing I noticed in all of the days, the trips, the human services, government, criminal justice, is that everybody in our community, schools as well, they have a passion for what they do. And that's what makes it great.
On the professional side, being new to the Boys and Girls Club and being able to connect with my fellow classmates when I have an issue or something like transportation. Thanks, Matt. I was able to get transportation, connected and taken care of for the club.
I would say that really about jumping in and doing it, but also being open-minded to what the experience might bring you.
In addition to people in this group, I feel like I can call any of these top leaders that we met, and that's only because of our involvement with this Leadership 21 class.
We know a lot more about the community in which we work and live, and that's priceless. And then I get to know all of you a little bit better, which was, for me, it was wonderful.
You make so many new friendships just coming to this class, and I have so many other people I can count on.
Leadership 21 is rewarding.
Leadership 21 is impactful.
Leadership 21 is a must for your personal and professional development.
Leadership 21 is amazing.
I need a
I need a minute.
I do too.
Leadership 21 is a great opportunity for growth.
Leadership 21 is a valuable experience I'll never forget.
Leadership 21 is connections.
Leadership 21 adds a whole new level of appreciation for the community we live in.
Leadership 21 is insightful.
Leadership 21 is fun.
I still don't know what I want to say.
Leadership 21 is community.
Leadership 21 is the best.
Leadership 21 is absolutely a must for your personal and professional growth.
Leadership 21 reaffirms why Westchester and Liberty Township are a great place to live, work, and play.
1, 2, 3.
Leadership 21, class of 2019, the best class ever.
We're going to zoom in on 1, 2, 3.
Leadership 21, class of 2019, the